our times are in God's hands, that it was perfect timing for us to get this done, and He pressed and pushed us to do it. He knew what was coming ahead, and He knew the time frame that we had to do this. And not only that, of course this isn't going to go around the world, but donations have plummeted tremendously everywhere, because people, the last thing that they're going to do when there's inflation and when there's financial problems around the world, the last thing they're going to do is to give. Isn't that the truth? The last thing that they're going to do is give. It's not going to be their first thing to do. Now, some of us have been raised in the church, and we give God the first. You know, He is to be on the top of the list, regardless of the economy, regardless of the bills, regardless of what's going on, or the things that have happened to us personally that are taxing us and stretching us. You know, something may have been broken in your house, like in my house, my microwave just poof went up on me, and I had to replace that if I wanted one. And so, you know, and the other one that I had in the apartment, that one needs to be replaced too. And that one, I couldn't use that one. So I didn't either go without or get one. And those are unexpected things for every one of us. Isn't it true? You've had some unexpected expenses. But when we put God first, regardless of what's coming your way or what is expected or unexpected, or the cost of goods, or the cost of fuel, or the cost of food, or the cost of anything, or any other repairs that we have in our personal lives, that when we put God first, and that's what He said, prove me now herewith, if I will not open the windows of heaven and pour out my blessings upon you. And He went on to tell us that we could not even contain. And so that is a wonderful promise of God. And one of the places in the Bible that He says, I want you to prove me in this thing. That if you will give your tithe and your offering unto me, not your leftovers, because if you look at your own personal economy and look at inflation and costs and look at what you need and look at the things that you weren't expecting to have happen to you, the cost of insurances and the cost of everything else has gone up, but God's economy remains the same. Yesterday, today, and forever, He is faithful and true. And when things were really difficult for them, and they were not tithing and they were not giving, He said that when they brought their wages home, it was like putting them in a bag with holes in it. That they went out into the field to gather, and they wanted to gather, for instance, 10 bushels, and they come back with 7. They went out to get the oil and to press the oil, and they expected to get 5 gallons and come back with 2. Now that's paraphrased. That they didn't have enough oil. They did not have enough food. They did not have everything done that they wanted for their families. And He said, and then you go home, and what did you do first when you come back to your homeland, released from captivity, that I set you free for a purpose, to go home and to build the temple. And yet instead of that, you built your own houses, your own sealed houses. And you farmed the land that I allowed you to come back into this land that I had given you. And you were released from bondage again. Not from Egypt this time, but from the 70 years of captivity. And I sent you back to the point of beginning, not to start all over, but to be blessed. And what did you do? You allowed my temple not to be rebuilt. You didn't do anything for me. And now you are reduced lower than what you expected. Your crops didn't produce the way you expected them to. You don't have enough oil to fuel, to cook. You don't have what you need for your family because you failed me. You failed to honor me, and I'm a great king. And so he said, don't give me your leftovers, because obviously when you put me in the budget at the bottom, and I'm not going to make the list. I may be on the list, but I'm not going to make the list because you've already spent even beyond your capacity. So he said, I'm a great king. You know, you need to honor me with your tithe and offerings. You need to put me first and not let me be on the last response or last list. So he said, to prove me in this, I will give you the evidence that I'm not joking when I say that 90% in your tithe and offerings, by the way, the tithe was 10%, and if there was offerings above that when you honor me and give me what I have asked you to give me, when I've given you everything, and then I ask you to bring back a portion to me, that there will be meat and substance in my house, that prove me that I will not open the windows of heaven and pour out my blessings upon you. So that when you had little, I'm going to give you the increase out of what's left after you have put me first. And so that is God's economy. That no matter how much increase there is out there, the cost goes up, but God's blessings come down. Prices go up, but God's blessings come down. Did he not say, I will open the windows of heaven and pour out my blessings upon you, that you will not have room enough to contain it? In other words, what's left that you didn't give to me will be so blessed that you will become a blessing to someone else, because you have more than enough. More than enough to live. More than enough to give. More than enough reserve. That you have all that you need and more. How many want that? We do. How many have experienced that? Can you say you don't have more than enough when you put God first? You can't say that. Can you say, I don't have enough food to eat, I don't have clothes to wear, I can't pay my utility bills, I can't put gas in my car, I can't buy what I need? We can't say that today, can we? We cannot speak those words because they're not true. That no matter what the cost is, God has already given his son to pay the price for you, that you will receive from him as we obey the word of God. Because when we love him, we obey his commandments. And it should be a privilege to give, a privilege to sacrifice for the things of God, a privilege to support the work of God and to do the will of God. And it's a wonderful thing to know that when you do this and put God first, that you're not going to be the last on the list. You're not going to be, when God looks down from heaven and sees his people, his remnant, his faithful few. Because not everybody's going to be faithful. Not everybody's going to obey the word. Not everybody's going to put God first. Not everybody. But those that do, you will not wonder if you're going to make the list. Am I going to make God's list? Am I going to be on the bottom of the list, the last line, that if there's any blessings left over after he has blessed all these other people, am I going to be blessed? And the word of God is true for you.